Oh. Oh, what's that on the horizon? Oh, it's coming straight this way. Oh, is it a good game? Oh, it's a good game. Actraiser. One of the more overlooked titles on the Super Nintendo. It is a very literal God game. Like in the Japanese version, it literally called you God and the enemy Satan. Here they changed it to Master and Tantra, I think his name was. But I think calling him God is a little bit too on the nose. We'll go with something a little bit more subtle like this. There we go. So monsters are going nuts all over the world, and we got our power sealed by Tantra. I'm not sure how exactly that works. But we need to go down. We have our nice sky palace here. Very Greek. So we'll start off by going down to the first area of Fillmore. And go down and kill the boss monsters so we can start getting people down there. And we get this nice Mode 7 cutscene going down here. Barf bags will be supplied underneath your chair, don't worry. In every stage we start off by possessing a statue of ourselves. Into this very Castlevania-esque side-scrolling section, where we fight blue-faced baboons. Apparently they have the power of Satan. Birds and bees as well. Satan comes in many forms. You also notice that the music tends to be fantastic in this game. I compared it to Castlevania because the jump tends to be a little bit stiff. It's not as hard, dedicated like Ghosts and Goblins or the first Castlevania, in that you can hold back to not jump forward as much, but the most you can do is come to a halt. You can't jump backwards after jumping forward, so you have some degree of commitment. Our health recovery items are apples, very appropriate. And this is actually a game where we want to get a good amount of points. We only get one shot every single side-scrolling section, so we want to make it count. And now we're riding on this tree that has a face that I make every day of the week. And we already come up to our first boss, the Scimitar. The most dangerous thing that he does is that lightning attack, since it can come down and you might not know where it's going. But as long as you stick to this back wall here, he can't charge further than his lance touching the wall. It's a pretty fair first boss, and I think it works out good. But with that, he's dead, and our soul leaves our body and goes back up to the heavens. Get a nice score bonus from any of our time and 1-up left. And we switch over to the simulation mode. Alright, our first two people are Adam and Eve. So even though we destroyed the boss monster, there's still monsters hanging around in layers, and they'll keep coming out and harass our people, unless we do something about them. Alright, now the problem here is that there's too many bushes for them to build. Even though those are clearly trees, if they're bushes, they are the biggest dang bushes I've ever seen. And now we won't want to start having them build towards the monster houses. Go and use our godly power of lightning to destroy these bushes. Exactly as much force as needed. But you see our miracles drain our SP up there in the top corner. I would assume that's spell points, but we get actual spells later on. So I'm not sure what's up with that. We got all these demons just flying all around. So we got our angel, which looks like the Pop Fiction version of a cherub. Complete with 16-bit ass and everything. So the nice thing about sim stages is that you can't really die. You can run out of health, in which case it'll cause the angel to not be able to shoot arrows anymore. But it just gradually fills back up as the hourglass you see there at the top. Every single time that finishes filling out, people will go out to build up the town and you'll get some health back. Let's see. Guess we need to go listen to them. This is basically just telling you that if you haven't started moving towards them, you need to start moving them now. And start the dark ritual, which seals them. But it's okay, it's actually holy since we're God. And every once in a while, they'll find something neat. In which case, they'll give it to us. And we'll just reach down with our giant hand and just pick it up by the very tips of our fingers. And get a bomb. Not a bomb, but a bomb. You have to say it loud because of the exclamation point. It's like an accent or an umlaut. So go ahead and start moving them towards the next one. In the meantime, just keep on burning these bushes. Very thematically appropriate. Oh, that dragon's looking for trouble. So far, most of these things haven't done much. Okay, there he goes. The bats will try to kidnap your people, but if you shoot it, it'll be okay because they'll just drop down 50 feet and be just fine. We made them very hardy. Alright, there's something in the woodsies up here. Luckily, we already burned most of the bushes in through there. Boy, this dragon is just active today. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I don't know, I kind of expected at this point. Ooh, fire. Oh god, I can't put out the fire because I can't access my menu when they're sealing the... Oh. Seal it faster, come on. Okay. So now we can use our rain miracle to put out this fire. Dragon! The dragon is probably the most annoying out of any of the monsters that we end up meeting. So go ahead and go down here and see what we can get. Oh, we don't have enough SP. We can get it back by either letting the hourglass run out, or by killing demons. So we can see we have farms and huts and cottages growing, being built. Whenever the population gets high enough, we get another level and we get more hit points. And the secret to getting a high level is that the population limit of each area is dependent on your score from the action stages. So you need to do well in the action stages in order to get a high score, so that way when you grow your towns, you can grow them with a high population. So that way when you go to the next action stage, you'll have more hit points. So that way you'll have a better chance of going through and doing well in that stage and leaving with a higher score. Make sense? It all feeds into itself very easily. Now they're letting us know that we need to blow up this big stupid rock right here. This one. Now the rock's gone. Okay, now they both find the thing that's under the rock and inside of the woods. And these are actually super useful. Magical Fire, which is a spell we can use in the side-scrolling action stages. And a Source of Magic, which gives us another cast of the spell whenever we're in the action stages. Okay, let's see now. Let's move up the measure speed just a smidge. There we go. You also notice that from leveling up we also have more SP as well. Alright, now that we got the thing out of there, we need them to move down here to get rid of this snapper, what do they call them? Napper bats? Yeah, napper bats. You can examine the monster houses and see just how many are in there, and see why it's a good idea to just seal it instead of trying to kill every single one. There he is. So it's just a matter of waiting until they build their way down there. This is basically grinding, but it doesn't feel like grinding, because you're actually doing stuff other than just selecting stuff in the menu. And doing it all to this really nice music is called a Birth of People. So I'm not super pressed on saying stuff constantly because of how nice the music is in the background. Alright, talking about starting a fishing trade, and we can see that there is a boat going around here down. No, it's pretty expected at this point. They have learned the forbidden technique of bridge building. So we want to be careful and not build on rivers too much, because there is a house limit even with the population limit from the stages. And bridges count towards that house limit because they're considered a building. It is worth it here just to get to this extra bit of land right here. But we want to try to avoid building on the rivers as much as possible right now. It's always really nice seeing all the people run around in order to do stuff. You also sometimes see peoples and animals wandering around the map, like that dog right there. Look at him go. Alright, with that they should start sealing the last of the monster layers here. Minotaurus. So every single time you finish sealing all of the monster layers, the second act becomes available. And there will be a point where they just refuse to build anymore, and then we'll leave, but until then I want to try to squeeze as many levels as I can. See this nice sinkhole that showed up? That's where the Minotaurus is. Right in that hole. But in the meantime, I'll just fill out the rest of these spots as much as possible. Okay, looks like that's about all we can build right now. So we'll go back to the Sky Palace. I'll just save real quick. Alright, before we go to fighting the monsters, we need to be sure to actually equip our spell, because it would suck to go in and just have nothing. And now we're going to plunge directly deep into that hole. Nice enough to put a master statue right on top of the pile of corpses. You can never be sure which of these spikes are damage spikes and which of them are instant death spikes. And my god, they have knives now. So these maggots are the second biggest maggots I've had to deal with in the past week or so. Man, the little knives just hurt so much. Oh. Like, this literally looks like an area that could have been in Super Castlevania 4. And those little red imps will start throwing knives at an angle. Gotta be sure to duck them. Half apples only heal a couple hit points. Not this guy. Very well animated. No in those spikes. Nothing good will come from it. You can see the little red imp doing math in his head, seeing if whether or not that would hit. Let's see. I think these faces are supposed to spit out, yeah, big red orbs. Okay, come on now. Do the jumps. Don't jump into the spikes. I'm surprised he got that out. Joke's on you, you threw it off screen. And of course we got the classic, the miscolored spikes are the ones that'll fall down. It's partially hidden by the UI, so we gotta be careful. And now we go up here, we can fight Dracula. Or the Minotaurus. We get some nice invulnerability whenever we use our spells. Want to take advantage of that. The trick is that you can jump over the projectile, but not the axe. Well, the axe that he's holding in his hand. Since the projectiles are also axes. And he's dead. He should have come better equipped than a few axes and a bright red thumb. And boy, we were just moving at 10,000 light years per second. Just look outside. Meow. Yeah, look at the people apes. They're just going around going, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka. But since we cleared out the second area, now they'll start building more buildings. We're not going to build too much here right now. We're going to come back to it later. But for now, we're done with Fillmore, and we can move on to Bloodpool.